interestingly, it's quite often the architects who are very hesitant regarding colors. Yeah, but with the architects, I feel that it's a little bit a professional fashion or kind of professional thing that they are almost trained to only look at the form, you know.
There must be a reason why we don't see the world in black and white, right? Color maximalists are going to love this because this will add the beyond layer to your designs. But even if you're not a big fan of color use in your interior designs, and you are more a neutral color designer or architect, you try to avoid any color, no matter which party you are, you will have some great insights today about color, about your clients, and about yourself. My special guest of our next Beyond Interior Design Live is Gabrielle Buresch. In short, color is a middle name and color is her fascination and vocation. Gabrielle is from Austria, based in Vienna. She has 30 years of experience working with individuals, groups, companies, and her main areas of work are holistic color consultant, color light therapy, and she's an interior design color consultant. She's also the founder of the Color Lights World Project and the author of the book, In the Beginning There Was Red. So, are you open to discover your truth about color? Because in this next episode of the Beyond Interior Design, we are going to take you on a personal journey into the land of color. Here she is, Gabrielle Buresch.
Yes, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everyone from Vienna. It's a sunny day today. First, thanks a lot, Mark Muskens and Sven from the Institute of Interior Impact for having me today. Very happy to be here.
Well, thank you. Yeah, great. Yeah, I saw you on LinkedIn, that's our favorite platform, and you were talking about color, and I was like, hey, this is another level of impact of color. She's talking about something I'm curious about. So great to have you today. But how does it start, Gabrielle? Where did it start, your fascination for color?
Well, you know, when I was a child, I was living 4 years in Mexico City. And that's known. Mexico is known for being a very colorful country. And I think that has influenced me a lot. And besides, I also have a love for art and for painting, actually. I also do paint myself. And, you know, life sometimes is so interesting because it was by a series of coincidences that I did my first studies to become a color consultant in the US. It was already by the end of the 70s, but in the 80s, this was. And so I started off doing color consulting in Vienna over 30 years ago. I took this thought of every individual has a group of colors that suits best to you and that expresses your personality. I took that to Vienna and started my color consulting business here. I have been a pioneer on this field in Austria, but also in Europe. And I started then doing, you know, running seminars and also workshops on color harmony and color psychology, also for companies, training seminars.
Yeah.
And yes.
Yeah. You're a color fan freak almost, because you can imagine a life without color. So why is color so important?
Well, color is actually life. We can't really imagine a world without colors, because actually, if you think of it, everything living is colorful. Only death is pale and without color. So color means life and beauty and joy and energy. And I always like to mention, you know, this saying of Goethe: colors are children of light, and light is essential to life. So because we need light and we also live from light, yeah, our bodies depend on light and colors belong to light. They are a part of light. So they are absolutely interconnected.
Yeah. What is color actually? What is it?
Well, color is the portion of the visible spectrum of light reflected back from a surface. If we see something, for example, a red material, this happens because first we need light to see a color. So the light that gets, the portion of the light that gets reflected from the surface will be red, and all the other colors of the spectrum get absorbed. So for the vision of light, we need several factors that are really important. So we need, of course, our eyes, we need light, and our individual interpretation of color also plays a big role. Therefore, it can happen when there's something looking red. For some people, it could look orange, and for others, it could look red. And this depends on your individual experience that is as unique as a fingerprint.
So it's really, yeah, is that unique? Nobody is experiencing color the same.
Actually, yes, everyone is experiencing a unique feeling or a unique experience regarding a color. And this depends, of course, of all the experiences we all made since our early childhood. So color is a result of a single light beam or a combination of light beams. So the wavelengths of light range from 40 nanometers, that's at the violet end, until the 700 nanometers at the red end. And beyond the red, as we know, is the infrared radiation. And when we speak about colors, it's always interesting or important to differentiate additive mixing and subtractive color mixing. Additive mixing is when you mix colored light. And when you combine colored lights, you obtain again the white light again. So that's the reason why the primary colors in the additive light mixing are red, green, and blue.
Yeah.
That's the color model for the additive mixing. This is always when we speak about colored light. But as soon as we speak about materials, about pigments and dyes, we are speaking about subtractive color mixing. That's something you all know maybe from painting, yeah? When you mix two complementary colors in painting, let's say red and green, this forms black or a very dull dark color. And that's why it's called subtractive, because it subtracts light. Yeah. In this system, we have the primary colors red, yellow, and blue. And then at the end, I just want to mention very shortly, in our eyes, it's the cones that are responsible for our color vision. And it's known there are three types of cones: the short wavelength, the middle wavelength, and long wavelength cones. And I've read recently, and I find that very interesting. So most of us have three cones that enable our color vision, but there are a few people in the world who are tetrachromats. They have four cones, and that's why they see much more colors than we do. So they have a super color vision. It's kind of rare. Yeah.
And now you're wishing you had those four, isn't it?
I hope that I'm having that.
Yeah.
It could even be that
you never measured it. Maybe you have those.
Maybe I have it, yes, because there's some kind of tests in the internet. I don't know if they are reliable, and that could be one explanation for my having colors as vocation and loving them so much.
Yeah, you're doing a lot of research about color because, well, as you said, color is your middle name. Color is everything is color for you. So what's your biggest insight on color? Well, color tends to be underestimated because it's such
so normal to have color everywhere. So in our daily lives, we tend not to think about it because it surrounds us. Yeah. And in my work, because I'm working as a holistic color consultant and a color light therapist, I'm also a chromotherapist working with the healing power of colored light. So I found out that color impacts us actually on 4 levels. The first level is the aesthetics, you know. So most of you, we work with the aesthetics of color in design, in interior design, in graphic design. So, you know, that's what pleases the eye. And you are, of course, all familiar with color theory and things like that. And you are good at combining colors also. So that's the aesthetics. But actually, colors have a deep beauty. It's not only about what our eyes feel as beauty, because there are 3 more levels where color impact. Second level is the psychology of color, meaning, so what effects do color have on us humans? Yes. And what effects are, what psychological effects are known, and what colors are, for example, best to use in a dining room or in a hall. Yeah. And that's interesting because the psychological effects do have slight cultural differences depending on where you live, which country you live, which area of the world you live, which culture you live.
Yes. Can you give an example why other people, well, they are a bigger fan of green, for example, than can you say a cultural difference?
Yes. So, for example, how colors are perceived and also loved depends on the nature you're living in. For example, I love to travel, and I've traveled several times to Australia, and of course there you have a lot of sea, you have a lot of beautiful beaches, and so you have lots of turquoise hues you can see there. And I've noticed that in Australia you can buy more turquoise colors, whatever you want to buy, much more than we have. But I'm living in a landlocked country. Of course, we don't have the sea, but we have some lakes. So that's an interesting point.
It reminds Gabrielle. It reminds me of I had a client who went to Ibiza, and of course, if you think about Ibiza, you think of this blue, turquoise, white. And when they came back from the holiday, they wanted to change the whole design because they wanted more of this vacation feeling, and all the emotions were all over the place. I was like, okay, we need to take a break. So I discussed with Sven, and I said, well, let's meet the client back in after 2 weeks, because now we had to change the whole design to white and blue. They were Ibiza minded with all the color schemes. So I was like, no, that's not what we're going to do, because in 3 weeks, they are back to reality, maybe after a few days already. And the emotions are lowering down, and they have another passion for another color or another.
So, and what happened then? Did they stay with the turquoise and blue hues?
A little bit. We added some, because what happens, at the Institute, we have the philosophy form follows meaning. So now they build up a really important emotion around those turquoise and blue, and the emotion of this great times, the holiday, stay together time, me time, this relaxation. So it's a really important factor to add that in the existing interior, in the new interior design. So we just took a part from that to remind them.
Yeah, that's a very good example how we are marked by colors, because it's quite often like that. The colors that we love or we like to include into our lives, for these ones we have very positive. They remind us of positive experiences we had. So that's a good example. So another example for differences that can be cultural, but can also be religious. For example, it's known that one holy color in Islam is green. And that is not a surprise, because if you look at the geography of countries where the Islam is predominant as a religion, you have many countries that have a desert.
Yes.
And in a desert, you are always looking for the oasis that is green.
Yeah.
And that's one explanation why green is the holy color in Islamic cultures. Yeah, so that's interesting. And another example is black and white as color for mourning. So as you might know of, in Asia and in China, it's white that is used as color for mourning. But in these religions, people have a belief of a possible life or transition after death. And in our more Christian cultures, it's black. Yeah, so that's interesting, and there are some changes. So color psychology is really fascinating. And what is really interesting to say is we are all marked by our personal experiences regarding colors. So in color psychology, of course, you have general sayings like red is a very bright, very activating, very warm color.
Yeah.
But there's the second aspect of this in color psychology is always what is the very personal reaction of the person. So it could even happen that people don't feel red as warm, although it is warm. Yeah, people don't feel red as activating because they have other experiences. So
they could hate it. They could hate it, really. Yeah.
Yeah. So that in color psychology, you always had, what is known, what is taught in color psychology, and the individual aspect of the person regarding the color. So that's second level. So third level is the energy of color. I'm working as a color light therapist with the healing effects of colored light. And so chromotherapy has grown a lot in the past 20 years. It is regarded as a complementary energy healing method. And I have a lot of amazing experiences with color healing, where we work, of course, with colored light. Yeah, so that's quite amazing. And as I'm working also in my international group, the Color Lights World project, with international colleagues who have many experiences, healing experiences with clients.
You have over 40 experts around the world, right?
Yeah, no, it's not as many, but there are between 15 and 20 in Africa, America, Europe, and even Tokyo, Japan.
Yeah, great.
We are working together and running Zoominars, spreading the knowledge and consciousness about that. So
about this light healing. A few months ago, I took a kind of it was called floating. It was in a kind of cabin with salty water. You were literally floating, and I had the light therapy on the ceiling. I don't know what happened, because in 5 minutes I was completely gone, and I woke up from the jet streams the music should wake me up 5 minutes before the jet stream started, but I was knocked out. So the jet stream woke me up, but I don't know what happened with the color, but I was it felt really literally healing. I took a nap from, maybe 45 minutes, and I was born again. I was like, this is quite addictive. Yeah.
Wow, that sounds awesome, because you had the multi-sensorial experience of combining water, light, and music.
Yeah.
So that can be really a very strong experience of having all that together. So so I'm personally, it's my vocation, working with color and light. So I just can't help it. It's my vocation, and I'm absolutely convinced that chromotherapy is going to be a healing modality in the present and in the future. And if I look at the scientifically entries in the PubMed platform, where you have all the science papers, we can observe that in the past 30 years, the number of entries about chromotherapy have grown exponentially. Yeah.
So well, that's good news, because we can work with color. Huh? It's an aspect. So that's why I would like to ask you, as a designer, we are working with colors, but how can we act on that? Because there was a client who told us actually they didn't like colors at all, a little bit, but they said, I hate green and blue. And normally those are the colors that, well, almost everybody likes it, but it doesn't mean they want to use it in their interior design. But why is somebody telling you that they hate a color? Well, let's take green and blue. What can you tell about this person?
So there are two possible explanations for that. So, or maybe, of course, there are more than two, but I can tell you about two I'm very familiar with. So the first thing could be that this person had a very bad experience with the color blue and green. Yeah, could be something negative that happened in the past related to these two colors. Could be a person related to this color, some bad experiences. Could also be that a kid was forced wearing all the time blue and didn't want it. Could be that the person is uniform. For example, I went to a Catholic school and I had to wear many years dark blue as a uniform, and I hated it for many years. Now I'm good again with it.
You're healed.
Yeah, now I'm healed. Yeah, but so there's something in the past that has been negative in relation to this color. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the second explanation could also be by color psychology. So as we know, blue is the color of relaxation, of peace, of quietness, of having time. Yeah, in chromotherapy, it's also used for relaxation. So it could be a sign that this person lacks all these qualities, lacks having time, lacks relaxation, lacks a peaceful surrounding. So it could be that this person is far too stressed.
Yeah, they had a really busy lifestyle, but on the other hand, you could see they are looking for this relaxation. So why not use blue and green? In my opinion, I was like, hey, you need blue and green to get relaxed. But they hated it. They liked this warm colors, red and orange, and it was kind of a heavy combination. I was like, this is strange. Busy lifestyle, a lot of colors together. So you're coming home and you're in this, well.
Well, that's interesting because if you have a very busy lifestyle, many people then love, to have a home, a surrounding where you can relax. So you need actually the complementary energy of your lifestyle for your home, so that you can, have another program. you can relax. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but we can help our clients with that by asking the right questions, or how can we?
Yeah, but I want to mention especially blue. Blue is known to be a color with an immense range of hues. Yeah, it has many hues, starting with light blue to royal blue to dark blue to turquoise to cyan, whatever.
Yeah.
So you could try and ask maybe or show the client, maybe there are some hues that you can get familiar with it, or could be petrol or turquoise. Yeah, so you could offer, because so there are so many blues. Yes, and coming back to your question, Mark, actually, working with colors in interior design is a practical form of color therapy.
Yeah,
because you as a designer use colors for your clients, you have the possibility of creating a beautiful, harmonious surrounding. And color is always energy, also when we are speaking about walls or fabrics in interior design. And why is that? Because as soon as you see color, you have a reflection of light, and light is vibration. So that means actually that the rooms you are creating can have a healing, or effect, yeah, if it's really done well, and if it fits really well with your client. So it is actually a practical form of color therapy.
Yeah. So what about this white minimalist houses? No colors at all, only natural materials, complete white, maybe a little bit grayish brown, but that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I know there are people who really love that, you know,
Yeah.
minimalism, and who interestingly, it's quite often the architects who are very hesitant regarding colors. Yeah, but with the architects, I feel that it's a little bit a professional fashion, or kind of professional thing, that they are almost trained to only look at the form, you know, or that they are offering. But of course, I know, so if somebody is not used to color, or doesn't like color, you could offer either light hues as a possibility, or muted colors. Yeah, they could, for example, I give you some examples. You could, for example, try taupe. You know, taupe is a brownish gray.
Yeah,
that could go well. So color, you could offer colors that are not too dominant. So, or, you know, muted greens could work, or you could try a petrol, you know, that's a bluish green, or maybe even brown could also work.
Yeah, what we sometimes do, we build it up with this more shades of the same color. So it's not this contrast thing, but you get more depth, and you get more, well, literally more depth and impact in the space. That's what we do. So how can we? You said there were 4 levels.
Yeah,
we have one left.
We have one left. So I talked about the healing aspect, the energy of color. And of course, you can also use this healing aspect on a spiritual level, you know. So color is also spirituality. And why is that? Because color is light. Yeah. And so, and of course, there are also many spiritual links to color in religion, or in spirituality. But I give you an example, and that is actually what we are going to do at the end of this podcast. So when you meditate with color, that's when you can experience the spiritual impact. So you can do a meditation, you can do a chakra meditation, you can do a visualization, or you can simply also imagine colors with closed eyes, what, by the way, we are going to do.
Yeah, you prepared a surprise. Yeah.
Yeah. To be the surprise at the end. Yeah. And by imagining colors, you connect yourself with the energy and vibration of color. And that also has quite an effect. Yeah. So, but I mean, we can, you know, because the power of our mind is maybe also underestimated. So we can create a lot only with our mind. Yeah, I give you an example on that, because, you know, everything that I recommend to my clients, I test it on myself. So everything is tried out by myself. Yeah, I give you an example. You can also try it if you want. But it's needed that you can really concentrate on a color. It's known that a dark hue of blue, so kind of royal blue or dark blue, is known to be a pain relief. Yeah, it can calm pain and soothe pain. Yeah, and one day I have been at the dental doctor. Yeah, at the dentist.
Yeah.
And this one had to remove one inlay of my teeth. And at the time I was pregnant, and I refused to get any kind of, you know, medicine to against pain. And I said, okay, no, I will try to do that without giving you giving me a painkiller. And what did I do? I imagine very strongly dark blue on this spot where this tooth was worked on, very strongly. And I managed.
Yeah.
It was, of course, I still felt it. Yes.
Yeah.
We put the pain completely away, but it was manageable for me. And I remember that my dentist asked me, so what did you do? And I said, yes, I used blue because blue is calming and soothing pain.
So you really, you were using the power of your mind, and you were using the impact levels of color on your brain. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds good. So, but what is it? What is it? How can I say it? Let me take it to another thing. I bought more than 1 year ago a beach house, a holiday home, and for me it was, in the first place, it was like, I want to go neutral whites because of my feeling said, well, you go to the beach, you want this white freedom, all these things. But right now, we're really attached to this place. I know how energizing this place is. I want to adapt the place with more color. What happened? What is happening with me? Why do I want it? Because normally I really do know what I want, but now I changed my home. Well, I don't do that really often. It's still the same, maybe 5, 6, 7 years almost in the basics, because I do know I love this. I know my bigger why I want this environment, how I work with it, my activities, and it's functioning. But this place is, my mind is shifting there. What's going on?
So in general, we can always say that the interest and the love for colors is always a sign of life and joy. Yeah. Color always brings joy. Yeah. And I can say in general, people who love colors generally tend to be joyful. Yeah. And to enjoy, the beauty of life. Yeah. And so maybe Mark, you have a new openness for some new joys in your life, or some new aspects of joy in your life. Yeah. So anyhow, I would say this is a positive sign. Yeah. So that you open for yourself for new aspects of the beauties in life.
Yeah, well, it sounds logical, but because first it was the meaning of this holiday home was this freedom and this kind of emptiness and space. And now my new association is with a lot of joy and people together having the best times and sunsets and all this, beach clubs with a lot of color. So it sounds logical, but I'm happy to hear that it is in a good direction. I like the joy and the playfulness. Yeah.
What colors are you thinking of, Mark?
No, it's literally what you see at some kind of surf clubs or surf beach houses, and it's all kinds of. It's just turquoise and yellow and orange, and some light greens. It's really those surfing kind of colors. But I started really to like them, and if I have different clothes that I'm wearing over there. That's also strange because it's easy because I can leave the clothes there, but I'm feeling better in a yellow sweater, yellow hoodie over there than I do at home. Yeah.
Yeah. So you see by that actually we adapt ourselves and also the colors we like to the surrounding, because on the beach, in your new house, you that's another surrounding than at home or at your work. Yeah. So we adapt and like to take colors that you would also see there.
Yeah. I like it. So what is it then? Because we have two categories. You are some people, they love colors, or they have a set of colors that they really love, and you have people with not loved colors. How can we act on that? How can we work with that? Because we have the problem when we are designing for people, sometimes they show us beautiful pictures, and maybe they don't mean to that it is in the total picture that it is what they really want, but they are looking for a kind of atmosphere, and then you're using a color and they say, hey, I'm not a big fan of that color. So how can we work with that? Now we have the theory, people like colors or they don't like colors. How can we create more impact with color use, but how can I ask you how to communicate it with your clients, or how to start a conversation? Because it's too easy to say, hey, I hate blue and green. And now we know that we can help them actually. I'm like, hey, if you want to be a complete or full person, and we can make you like those colors, yeah, you have a better life.
Well, when I do a color interior design consultation, I always first have a talk with the client and ask what you like and what don't you like, or I visit their home and see what they are having, what materials, what colors they are having. And what can be helpful is that you try to work with related colors or with groups. For example, if somebody tells you a person likes, let's say olive green and petrol and terracotta and brown, let's say these colors are muted, warm colors,
a little bit earthy,
This person says, okay, she likes, or maybe let's take only two. One person says she likes olive green and terracotta. So okay, these are warm colors and they are muted. So you can offer other warm and muted colors, and that there's a high probability that they could befriend themselves with others from the group.
Mm-hmm.
Like follow that, so it can be starting point is olive green and terracotta. So then you could offer taupe, maybe some light browns. You could offer even or maybe a petrol, that's a dark bluish green. You could offer various muted green hues. You can also offer pumpkin yellow.
Yeah, so you are expanding the the color scheme.
Yeah,
you're expanding that, and you can experiment. Hey, what's if I raise the U value, then oh, maybe this is going too bright, or this one is, you can experiment. Yeah.
And another example, maybe if somebody says a person likes black and bright blue and black and let's say red.
Yeah.
What does this tell us? This person likes very definite and very clear colors. Yeah. So no muted.
No. Sounds like a bachelor apartment to me. Like a single man with glass tables, leather black chairs and a red wall.
This one you could offer other clear and very definite and deep colors, like so if you start from black and red, so you could offer dark green, or of course gray, or dark blue, or royal blue.
So you're definitely offering more colors. You want just add more colors to the scheme too.
Yeah. So in general, if I summarize that, you listen, what does the person like and does not like, and from what she likes, you analyze what kind of color is this, and then you offer in the same color scheme similar colors to these.
Yeah.
Or if somebody says, okay, I like pastels, offer other pastels.
Yeah, so that's a really cool solution to when you want to have the creative freedom, that's a kind of safe way to continue with your design when you know that. I'm a really curious person, so the next time I really want to know the why. So let's find out. I will come back to you with my experience, because now I have enough touch points, and I do have the listeners have those touch points too, to see how they can tap into the conversation, why people like those colors. And if you know the why, I think it would be it's really easy to continue your design your design version, because when you know the bigger why, we always say that the how is easy when you know the how, when you know the why. So if we tap on all those emotions, associations, maybe culture, and we combine that, we can take them to the next level.
Yes, and you know, if your clients are open for this kind of talk, actually it's really interesting for themselves, yeah?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Why is it I don't like green? Does it remind me of something? And it can also help them change their view when they discover. Because I want to say something that is already an intro for what we're going to do.
Yes, we go to that in a few minutes.
Yeah, but actually we humans, we are all multicolored beings. So we do have the energy and the meanings of all the colors of the spectrum within ourselves, yes. But for some reasons, there are some colors we don't let into our lives and we refuse to see or to use. But it's very expanding if we refriend these colors, because the color I don't like has some negative associations, but if I discover why, I have maybe the chance to heal that. And then, you know, this color with all the positive energy and the positive meanings comes back into my life. Yeah.
That sounds great. Refriending with color. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's time to go to this special element. We had another visualization with Ruben Molenkamp a few months ago. Visualization on manifesting. That was really cool to do. So if you missed that podcast, please go back and have a look. Ruben Molenkamp, Manifesting a Life, Design Your Own Life. Right now we are going to do it with, we're going to a personal color journey. Let's call it that way. Discovering your own color idea. So, first of all, I would like to thank you for this podcast. I had a lot of questions. I have more material to work with on color, more questions to ask to my clients. So it will definitely, we're leading in an even more smooth and quick design process. So that's really cool. We can add an extra layer on the beyond part of color. So thanks for that. If people, if you are attending live, Gabrielle will stay here for other questions for sure, because you might have questions after the visualization we are going to do. So she's right here. And otherwise, thanks for listening again. See you in the next live or listening to the next podcast episode. So thanks for that. Well, Gabriella, give it a go.
All right. So thanks, Mark, and for having me. And now we are on a color journey. I invite you to. So first, what I want to mention is, again, we are all multicolored beings, and color is a very fast language. It's a language that is as fast as light. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask you a question, and I want to encourage you, please take the first answer that comes to your mind. Okay, so again, so I want to encourage you to take the answer that comes up to your mind. Take the first answer that comes, yeah? So we will start now, and please take a comfortable position where you are seated. And I want to ask you, please close your eyes and take a deep breath and feel yourself, how you are sitting here. And then comes the question for you. If I was a color, what color would I be? And please take the first color that comes up. Take the first one. And now please imagine that you immerse yourself into that color. So this color now completely surrounds you. You are part of the color. You can feel this color, sense the color. and take the time to enjoy this color. How do you feel now when you are in midst of this color you have chosen? And now comes the next important message, important question. Is there a message your color has ready for you? Your color is able to speak to you, and just listen. Whatever comes is okay. Maybe your color has something to tell you, a message, a tip, a hint, whatever. You don't have to do anything, only listen and accept this little present of your color. And now breathe again and imagine you take this little present that your color has given you with you into your here and now, into your daily life. All right, so you received your present, and now just be aware you are completely in the here and now again. And when you are landed, please open your eyes again. All right, so I wish and I hope that you had a lovely experience, and maybe the color you received as answer has given you something interesting to think about.